Cool beans. Are we live? We are we live? We seem to be live. Okay. Let's bring the microphone over. Let's get ready to go. Okay. I believe we are live. Hello to everybody who's watching along. I'm Scott Freeman. How we doing? How we doing, man? It is currently 20 past 1 here in the UK. I'm on the water now, but until very recently, I've been on the booze. I am a tad bit drunk. I apologize for that, but I thought I didn't want to go to bed, and I haven't made a YouTube video this week, so I thought it'd be a fun time to make something cool. So I'm here. Let's see what happens. Maybe I'll play some songs. Maybe I won't. Let's do it. But I'm on the water to try and sober up a bit. So let's see where things go. Yummy water. There we go. Yeah, I've been out with my mate Billy, who I do my podcast with, and we've had a bit to drink tonight. Billy's not here. It'd be really cool if Billy was here right now. But next time we do a live stream. Yeah, so just had a just caught up, had a drink, and man, I can't tell you, after so many months of lockdown, just being able to meet up with a friend and have a few drinks, like how much that means to me, like how much you're able to just like chill out and do normal stuff when you've just been locked up for so long, like how cool that is. It's just a normal thing, but man, like it's so cool to do. So anywho, I'm here. So if you're watching along, say hi in the chat. Let's get a chat going as we usually do. Suggest some songs you want me to play if you want me to play some songs. If not, we'll just see where things go because screw it, we're here. Let's do something. Yeah. So there we go. Cool, man. Things have been lots of stuff's been going on here recently. If you're new to this space or if you're not, welcome to my studio. It looks pretty crazy behind me with all this crisscross acoustic foam going on with all the MLV soundproofing behind it. Basically, back in March when we went into lockdown here in the UK, I basically got my studio done like the week before. So as we went into lockdown, I've basically spent the whole time developing this place and making it better and working in it. And now I'm got to a point where it was the end of October last year where we started work on this place. So now I'm in a space where I'm like, right, I want this. It's nearly been a year, so I want to make this place look the best it can. So I'm in a process of picking out materials to go over the acoustic foam to make this place look really aesthetically nice. Picking out some lamps and things like that, making this place look really cool. So we're currently doing that. So man, that's gonna be really cool. So just working on that at the moment. Been working on that. I've had lots of personal stuff going on, so there hasn't been any videos this week. Tuesday's video, I had something very personal happen, which we may get into. I don't know. But on Thursday, I tried uploading my podcast with Billy, and it just didn't work. I just was having problems with YouTube, and so we didn't get the video up that we were planning to have up, unfortunately. So that was just annoying. Sometimes that happens where you spend ages making a video, but then when you try to upload it to YouTube, sometimes it doesn't work. It's really annoying. So that happened earlier in the week. So I'm trying to get that video ready and re-uploaded so we can get back to some sort of normality. Because this week on YouTube's been a bit crazy. But there you go. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you try living the normality of life and life just goes off in a really crazy direction and you're kind of chasing after it. So that's what this week's been like. It's been a bit of a nuts one. Hoping next week's gonna be different. I was planning to do a live stream at 10 a.m. on Saturday, as I usually do. But I got back and I thought, you know what? I've had a bit to drink. I don't want to go to sleep. Let's do a live stream now and see what happens. So here's cheers to the one person watching along. I hope you're enjoying this. Yeah, there you go. So I am working on a new release at the moment, a new musical release, which has been really cool. I am working on a new EP. I've released 3 albums to this point, but I haven't really officially released any EPs. So I'm releasing an EP about Brexit. I'm doing a Brexit EP. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but yeah, I'm releasing a CD around Brexit. So I'm excited about that. So I've been working on that a lot. That's been really cool. By the way, if you're watching along live, say hello, say hello in the live chat, and let's get a conversation going because that's always really fun. Yeah. So yeah, as I say, I've been working on a new EP. It's about Brexit. I've got 3 songs about Brexit that I'm really proud of, and I'm nearly ready to release. I've been working on it with my friend Rob, and yeah, it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be really cool. I'm really looking forward to getting that out there into the world. But yeah, we're still working on it. It's it's taken its time. There's basically the first 2 songs of the EP are kind of like punk songs. So they're pretty easy to kind of produce, but the last song is kind of this weird experimental alternative rock, kind of like behemoth. So it's taking a lot of energy and a lot of work to get done. So we're getting there, but slowly. That's the thing about recording music. I thought when I have my own studio, like it's going to be so much easier to make music and produce music. I was wrong. I was a fool then, a damn fool. I thought, yeah, like it'll be so much easier once you have a studio of all the time in the world. But the fact is that actually making music, like all the different assets of it, like writing the song, that's one thing. But then recording the song, that's a whole other thing. It takes so much focus. And it's really annoying when you keep mucking up on a certain bit and you've done like 40 takes on just one little focal line and it's not quite right. It's really annoying, and you start going, oh, maybe I should just go with the imperfections. Maybe the song should just be crap. Maybe the song should just be rubbish, and then it will be fine. But then you realize, no, actually, if you're not happy with something, you shouldn't be releasing it out to the world. So the recording process just goes on and on and on. So having this place is great because I can come in here and record something at what's the time? Like 1:30 in the morning. You can come record stuff at 1:30 in the morning. That's the cool thing about having your own recording studio. You can do stuff like that. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you can't get things exactly right. So that's how it is. Anywho, if you're watching along, hey, how you doing? Say hi in the live chat stream. That's always cool when we get a bit of a conversation going. If not, have a good time. I hope you enjoy the live stream. Here we are at 1:30 in the morning here in UK time. I don't know what time it is in the rest of the world. I'd be interested to hear what time it is. I've been drinking, so that is how it is. Uh, we've got someone along in the live chat. Matthew One Man. Hey Matt, how you doing, man? How you doing? Hey, bud. How's things going? How's your lockdown going? Good to hear from you, bud. If anyone watching along hasn't heard Matt's music, you should definitely check it out. He does some really cool musical wizardry on his guitar. So you should definitely check it out. So yeah, hey Matt, hope you're doing well. I'm glad to see I'm not the only night owl out there. Yeah, man. So I'm getting to the end of my water here. I'm debating whether to crack open another can of something. I've this evening I went and hung out with my mate, and we went and we had some drinks because yeah, not really like had many nights out to go and have a drink, and pubs here in the UK have been closing at 10 p.m. Which is lame. Some parts of the country, like in the north and in Scotland, they've been closing. Um, that's been really lame. So, but we decided to. I just went round to my mate's house and we had a bit of a drink, just doing the blue bag, doing the blue bag. As you do, go to your old corner shop, get some cheap pints, and go and have a good old drunk. So I am slightly intoxicated, but let's just go with it. Anywho, Matthew one man, thanks man. I'm well, thank you. Good to hear you well, bud. When this is all over, we shall have to gig again. That will be very, very fun. Um, and yeah, blue bag. There we go. Blue bag. What is in the blue bag? Well, that's a good question. I decided to splash out and get some San Miguel. I do like a good San Miguel, I have to admit. I'm a big fan of San Miguel. Um, not my favorite beer, but definitely up there. Definitely up there. Um, London Stone, a great venue in Staines where me and Matt have played before. They do a great beer on draft called Krombacher, which I believe is a German beer. I may be wrong there, but I'm assuming it's German. Anyway, I may or may not have another San Miguel. I don't know. I've had a lot to drink tonight, so we'll see where things go. I may attempt a song at some point if someone suggests it. If not, I will keep talking because I'm having a good time. Uh, Water is incredibly underrated. I will say this about water now. Water is delicious. And it tastes even better after you've had a few drinks. So here's to water. Cheers to water. I will talk more about water later on in the live stream. But this is cool. I've not done a live stream at 1:30 in the morning before. So hey, we're trying new things out. There you go. Yeah, man. So this is how things are now. Yeah, so we are in October, which is an interesting time of year. It's getting colder, the leaves are getting browner, and yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Are you guys fans of the autumn? Because I'm kind of a fan of the autumn, but I'm more a fan of the summer. Let me know what you guys think. And again, if you're watching along, say hello in the chat and let's get a conversation going because that's really fun. Um, yeah, man. It's been interesting. Boom, 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 boom. Matthew one man, love the autumn. Yeah, the autumn's pretty cool, man. I find the older I get, the more I appreciate the autumn because it's a season full of metaphor. I mean, like as all seasons are, but the autumn's just really it's beautiful. There's something really beautiful about the leaves all getting crisp and falling to the ground, and you crunch them underfoot, and you walk along, and you kind of absorb the autumn into your shoes as all the shards of all the autumn leaves become part of your shoes. You know what I'm saying though? You know what I'm saying? Like you take the autumn with you. It's a really beautiful season. It's cold, but it's not super cold. When we get to November, like late November, then I start going, actually no, I'm not a fan of the autumn. Like let's go back to summer. Because that's when it really starts sliding into winter. But yeah, I do like the autumn. I like it a lot. I think I'm starting to appreciate British springtime a bit more because it's starting to get warmer. Possibly not for the right reasons. Climate change is obviously a big thing. But it was definitely a very warm springtime here in the UK. So there you go. Weird times. Anywho, I don't usually stay up this late. Usually by this time I'm asleep, but I've had a bit of a drink tonight, so I decided let's stay up and do a live stream because you guys are awesome and I want to hang out with you guys. So if you're watching along, say hi in the live chat. Let's get a conversation going. It's always really fun. If not, I'm just gonna chat about random stuff. So yeah, I was hanging out with my good mate Billy tonight and planning wedding stuff. He's getting married, which is really really cool, and I'm the best man, so we're here. So we were yeah just chatting wedding stuff tonight, which was pretty cool. And so looking forward to that. He's getting married in 2022, and man, I feel sorry for people getting married this year, because they have big parties, and a wedding's supposed to be a big party, and that's when you get a band in, isn't it? That's when you get a band in to play, and you have a really good time. Like that's what a wedding's supposed to be, isn't it? It's supposed to be a big party, and seeing the really small weddings has been really sad because I just think, oh man, like you're getting married, you only do that once in your life. It should be a really big blowout. And as a musician, you want to play events like that. You don't want to play. I mean, yeah, you'll play small gigs, but you want to play big parties, like where the people are and there's energy in the crowds, like that's what you want to do. So yeah, man. So I'm glad my friend's wedding is like in 2022, where it hopefully will be back to some sort of normality. Matt, I don't know if you've had any gigs during lockdown or if you're back to any sort of normality right now, but I hope you are. Hope you're back gigging because people need to hear your guitar work, your cool tunes. It'd be sad if people are deprived of that too long. um, that's it. Rishi Sunak this week obviously made some claims saying, "Oh, if you're a musician, then you need to go retrain because furlough is no longer going to support you, so you need to go retrain." So yeah, so that was a bit upsetting this week hearing he said that, because I think a lot of people probably got behind Rishi Sunak this year. Um, yeah, and I think a lot of people got behind him and thought, like, this is the guy announcing furlough. This is the guy, putting this system in place that's supporting us. And now it's like, oh, if you're a musician, you should just retrain. And yeah, it really, really lame. Matt's commented quite a bit here, so I'm just going to comment here. Matt, you said you did one gig. I'm glad you did at least one, man. Yeah. um, yeah, I'm glad you got a gig in. Boom, boom, boom. Uh, you and your girlfriend were just talking about Rishi. Funny that. Yeah. Good old Rishi Sunak. You had a couple gigs cancelled. Both were yeah. You had some gigs cancelled. That were festivals, both in Reading, right? A farmer got you to turn down the speakers. That's just abominable. Who would do that? Um, boom. Yeah, some festivals in Reading. I might be able to play. Well, I'm very much up for playing any gig right now. I've played 2 gigs, Matt. I've played. Where did I play? I played in Salisbury. I played in Salisbury at the end of July and the end of August at the same venue, a place called the Winchester Gate. So yeah, I don't know if you've played the Winchester Gate, Matt, in Salisbury, but it's a great place. You would go down really well there. Really cool, quirky venue that's open to different kinds of music. And yeah, so I played there at the end of July and the end of August. Yeah, go play there, dude. You'll really like it. I'll hook you up with a show. It'll be great. Yeah, so I played there in July, and it was my first gig since March. Um, it was my first gig since March, and in March, my last gig was at the London Stone in Staines. It was a really good gig. It was just like one of those gigs that you wish every gig was. Like, it was a really good show. People were dancing and singing along to like my songs, which is always a great sensation. Um, but then on top of that, like I got paid for playing the gig, which is always great. I also sold quite a bit of merch. Plus, a guy came up and gave me a random tenner halfway through my show because he was enjoying it that much. Like that's what you hope every gig's gonna be. You know, like you're gonna have a great show. Plus, you're gonna make like a little bit of money out of it. So you go home feeling like, okay, not only was this a great artistic, creative experience, but also like yeah. Yeah, also, like, I feel really, like yeah, you've got a bit of money in your pocket, and that always makes a musician feel good. So there we go. Anywho, Matt, you've commented a bit, so let me catch up with what you're saying, bud. You had to take down the speakers, so you had to leave. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, man, if you've got any gigs going, I'm very much up for playing some gigs with you, bud. That would be really fun. I'd love to do a gig swap. I'm sure we can sort that out. I'm friends with a few venues. That's one of the cool things I found over the last few years. I've been able to make friends with the people who run the venues, which is really cool. Like I feel like when I play certain venues now, I'm not just going to play a random gig. I'm going to visit friends, but I'm also playing a gig. Like it's cool. Like I wish every gig was like that. Some gigs you show up, and I'm sure you know this, Matt, and whoever else is watching, that sometimes you show up and play a gig and you don't know who's running it. Like who's doing sound, what's going on. You just get up and you play, and maybe it's a good gig, maybe it's a pretty rubbish gig. Like it could be whatever, really. It's not, it's, it's the lottery. You don't know what you're going to get with some gigs. But I feel really privileged the last few years. I've made friends with a few venues and I've run gigs and yeah, all sorts of stuff. So I'm really proud of that. Yeah. I'm glad to hear, Matt, that your last gig was a really good gig. Um, that's good. It sucked that if like your last gig was rubbish and then you went into lockdown and it was just that would just suck, you know. Yeah. So yeah, you missed the random tenner days. I'm glad you've also experienced that, Matt. I'm very glad. Just to say to anyone who's watching along, you can comment in the live chat and get involved in the conversation we've got going here. That'd be really cool. If not, if you just want to watch along, that's cool as well. You're very welcome. Yeah, man. So yeah, it's a shame that we're in a very weird time right now because of the old virus, and like gigs aren't happening normally. It's very strange. Like what is life without live music? Really, it's very odd, very odd indeed. Yeah. So I've spent the last 6, nearly 7 months, kind of working in this studio. And I started building this studio at the beginning of November last year. Never, like, not even having it in my mind that, oh, we're going to go into a massive national lockdown, and so having my own recording studio would be really handy. Not thinking that at all, just thinking this would be a really cool facility to build, grow my abilities as a music producer and as a songwriter and as an engineer and as a composer and a producer. All of those skills, that'd be really cool to grow. Thinking this is what this facility is going to help enable. Never once thinking, oh, we're going to go into lockdown. So bizarre. So yeah, really strange. Matt has commented saying Noah and the Ark. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, bud. So if you could elaborate, that'd be great. If not, I will probably speculate what you mean by Noah and the Ark. Um, I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, Noah and the Ark. A good story. What does the story of Noah and the Ark teach us? That is the question. Uh, Building the studio before the Matt, you know it. So, what Matt's just said here, he said Noah and the Ark, which bamboozled me at first. I thought, what do you mean by Noah and the Ark? And then Matt then later went and said building the studio before the flood. Yeah, that's it, Matt. That's it. Like I built this place and it's been my salvation. It's been my ark during the floods. It's kept me afloat, and I mean, several things have been. It's not just the studio. Back in January last year, I decided I'm going to build a YouTube channel. I'm going to see if I can get to 1,000 subscribers or more. See how we go. And I managed to get to over 1,000 subscribers back at the end of May, and that was really cool. And it's really cool to do stuff here on YouTube. And if I was starting with YouTube afresh during the lockdown, that would have been really frightening, and I really would have felt like I was starting from nothing. But because I started before, that really helped, and because I started before with the studio, that also helped. So you are right, Noah on the Ark, man. That's an apt analogy, or yeah, what do they call it when you use a story as metaphor? I can't quite remember the phrase for it right now. But that's exactly what you're saying. Yeah, building the studio before the flood. And yeah, it has kept me afloat. I really don't know what I would have done without this place during the last however so many months. So yeah, you're right there. Um, Anywho, I've run out of water and my mouth is dry. Oh wait, no, I got a little bit more. One thing I'm gonna have to set up in the studio is some sort of tea and coffee making facility over in the corner. That's got to happen. That would be really cool. Matt, by the way, you are welcome to come record here at any time, though I'm sure you probably have your own recording facilities. You're welcome to come to Sheeptown and record anytime. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, man. So what is the time now? It is a 1:45 here in the UK. And yeah, we are chatting. If you are watching along live in the video, say hi in the chat, and yeah, let's get a conversation going. Why not? And yeah, yeah, there we go. Matt in the live chat saying, thank you very much. Yeah, oh, you are very welcome, Matt, to come record anytime. You're saying my studio isn't quite as big. Yeah, I mean, this place, if I usually when I do the live streams, I don't explore the place, but it is quite big when you think about it. It's quite a space. I can go all the way back here. I don't know if you can still hear me, but like it's quite a space. Yeah. It's a bit nuts, really. I'm kind of yeah, kind of blessed to have this. I feel like I've done nothing to earn this place, you know. But it's a real blessing. So I try to bless my friends with it as well. Um, yeah. So you've got a sofa. There you go. That's the important thing. Once you got a sofa, you've got a studio. That's how I put it. Yeah, man. Sometimes I just come out here and relax. You know, I come out here probably every day to do some work. Um, at the moment, I'm working on a new EP. It's just a 3-track EP. It's about Brexit. It's a kind of punk alternative rock kind of EP, and so I'm working on that. And so even though I haven't properly worked like as in a normal job in like 7 months, I've been coming out here and doing work. So I feel like I've been working. I've been getting paid for my usual job, but in the daytime I make YouTube videos. So I feel like they're paying me to make me YouTube videos. I know that's not the case, but I like to think that it is. So it's been cool to make stuff in here. Um, Yeah, and I've been building up a collection of guitars here in the corner from friends who've just left stuff here, essentially. Most of the equipment over here needs massive overhaul. So even though it looks impressive, most of these guitars need a lot of work. So I need to go to a guitar store at some point soon and get them fixed so I can start recording with them. That'll be pretty cool. Um, yeah, so I'm pretty jazzed about this recording space. I love it. But I'm ready to go out and see more of the world again. As much as it's been really cool to have this space and make stuff here, I feel for me like I one of the things I realized about myself in lockdown is actually like travel is like actually more important to me than I realize. Like I'm quite an introvert, but actually seeing more of the world means a lot to me. And when I get to gig, I've been able to see more of the UK. I've seen more of Wales and Scotland and England all over in the last 5 years. But since I started becoming a full time musician, and thanks to lockdown, I haven't been able to do as much of that really, and it's been a bit of a drag. But I've realized that about myself, and so if anything good's come out of this, it's that actually, like I know myself better now, and that in itself is fulfilling, you know. So if you can take a positive away from a negative, in any situation in life, then that's a good thing. And that's how I strive to be. So yeah, here we are. Here we are. So yeah, if you're watching along live, say hi in the chat, the live chat we've got going, and join us in the conversation here. Yeah, man. So here we are. Matt, you're saying you miss travel too. Yeah, it's a big thing, isn't it? Like as a musician, I often think that yeah, miss being in different cities every few weeks. Um, where's my favorite city? My favorite city, do you know, I lived in Winchester for quite a long time, Matt. And Winchester, every time I go back there, I still love it. I love gigging there because it's like going back to an old pair of jeans or an old pair of shoes. You just slip right back in. But in terms of cities that I've played, like I really loved Leeds. I really, really like Leeds. I don't know if you've played in Leeds, Matt. I'm sure you'd go down there really well, but I liked Leeds a lot. I found it quirky. Leeds was a bit like Winchester, but like a northern version of Winchester. I loved Edinburgh. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I love Edinburgh as well. Every time I've got to play Edinburgh, even though we haven't played to large crowds there, like I've really enjoyed the place. I'm half Scottish, so hence the name. And I just every time I play in Scotland, I feel like I reconnect with something. Some I don't know quite what it is, but I love playing there. But Leeds is great. Nottingham, I have played Nottingham, Matt. I played Nottingham back in 2016, so I haven't played in 4 years, and I don't know when the next time I'll play is. But I played in Nottingham. I played at a pub in Nottingham, just outside the city centre, and I had a really, really good time. In fact, do you know what? Um, where is it? I'm going to find it. Here it is. So when I played in Nottingham, I played at a pub which was really nice, and they had an American band that were in the week before, and they went back to America. They were never coming back to play this place, but they left this lead. They left this really nice lead. I don't know if you can see it. It's a really cool lead, and they just left it there. And the sound man said they're never coming back for it. You might as well take it. And I'm not the kind of person that takes gear from other musicians, like that's not my thing, but seeing as like they weren't coming back to the country and the sound man was giving it to me, I was like, do you know what? It's a very nice lead. And I've had it for 4 years now, and it reminds me of that tour. It was a pretty cool tour. I played it with my friend Dan Eagle, and we played a whole bunch of places. We played, let's see if I can remember that tour. We played, where did we play? We started the gig. We started the tour. It was like a 2-week tour across the UK. We played in Swindon, then we played Southampton, then Crawley, then Winchester, then Hackney, then Leeds, then Bristol. That Bristol gig wasn't too good. Then we had a day off. Then we went and played Birmingham, Nottingham, where I got the leads. Then we came back down and we played Portsmouth. Then we played Lutterworth, which is near Leicester. And then we played Bath. And then I think that was it. I think that was the tour. That was it. But yeah, you're right, Matt. Like the little things you pick up along the way, like whenever I use this lead, which is nearly every gig now, I remember that tour and that experience. And when we played that tour, I tell you what, like it was rough at points. We had some flats and houses to stay at along the way because we're playing different cities, but some we didn't. After playing Hackney, we played Winchester in the afternoon and Hackney in the evening. We were supposed to stay at Dan's uncle's place in Elephant and Castle in London, but his uncle had a condition where he had to sleep at a certain time every night, and our gig got pushed really, really late, so we couldn't stay with him. And so we were like, do we drive back to Winchester and sleep there? Or do we just keep traveling to Leeds where we're playing the next day? So we just made our way to Leeds. We traveled as far as we could to Leeds before we needed to sleep. So we got to Grantham, and I was getting pretty sleepy, so we had to pull off into a random A road, and we slept on some random A road in Grantham that I hopefully never returned to because, yeah, we pulled down this little country road that was abandoned, and we thought, oh, we'll just like park the car and sleep here. So we were just in the front seat of the car with like sleeping bags, trying to sleep. And I'll always remember waking up in the morning and looking out the car window, and to the left of us was just this old abandoned playground with old rusted swings swinging in the wind. And yeah, oh my word, like I was, as soon as I saw that, I was just like, ah, and just like put my foot on the accelerator and got us out of that. Like it was spooky and horrible, and part of the experience of the tour. So I'm not even sure if that was the roughest night's sleep we had on that tour, but it happened. So there you go. Matt, that's what my old band did on tour pretty much every night. Yeah, it's not fun, but it's part of the experience, isn't it? In a fan. Yeah. The first tour I ever did with my the Tokyo Sexuals, my backing band that I occasionally play with. Um, we I booked us all travel lodges, so we slept really well pretty much every night. We didn't have a bad night's sleep, even though there was a lot of driving. This like we slept well, so that was something. But the second tour I did, we didn't sleep particularly well, and yeah, later tours, yeah, maybe not so much. So yeah, I've learned a lot of along the way, and one of the things I've definitely learned, Matt, is that I need a good night's sleep. Sleeping upright in a Ford Focus in a dodgy A road in Grantham just doesn't do it for me. I need to sleep better in order to perform the way I do. I need good night's sleep. Man, there were 6 of you and a fan. That must have been brutal. I hope you had some mattresses or something in there so that it was a lot comfier because oh man, like I know that experience. It's not fun. Um I tell you what, I tell you my like the absolute worst of what happened on the road. Um in 20 um yeah. Yeah. Oh, when was it? 2018, I think this was. Matt saying, um, a night on the A road feels like a dream now. Have missed all nighters back from Edinburgh now. Yeah, yeah, I totally get you, Matt. Like, you know, all that stuff, even like the bad stuff from gigging, you miss. I miss playing to an empty room. I know you've probably played to an empty room or two in your time, Matt, and it's probably not that enjoyable when you're there. But now you think, oh, there's like a certain charm to it, you know, and like you even miss that. But my worst experience on the road was in 2017 when I was releasing my second album, which is called Have Fun Being Single. Um, we released that album and I was really proud of it. And I took a band out on the road. And this was the first year I was playing Scotland. So I was really excited um, to go play the homeland, essentially. And we played Birmingham, then Leeds, then Edinburgh, then Glasgow, and then we had to travel back down to Winchester. And so we had to make our way up there and make our way back. And yeah. We had to travel all our way there, and for Leeds, I couldn't find a hostel for us to stay in. In Bristol, I booked us a nice enough hostel. We stayed there, and in Edinburgh, we had someone that was putting us up. Essentially, the venue had a flat above the venue where they put up musicians. Cheers to Bannerman's. Miss playing Bannerman's. Um, yeah, so but Leeds, I couldn't find a hostel that was cheap enough within our budget because I didn't have a lot of money. And so I looked on Airbnb and I found a campsite that we could stay on. And I thought, screw it, like we could stay in a campsite. We'll take a couple of sleeping bags along, we'll be fine. And this campsite was also a garden center, like really weird. Like it was a garden center that moonlighted as a campsite. They didn't have didn't have much land for the campsite, but yeah, you stayed there. And so it was £10 a night, and it was a luxury tent. It said all you need to do is show up. We've got all the stuff you need for your stay. So we showed up, right? We showed up at this campsite, and we leave some stuff there, and we go off and play our gigs. And it's actually in 2017. It was June 2017, so it's just before the election. If you cast your mind back to 2017, that's the election where Theresa May ended up losing a whole bunch of Conservative votes, and the DUP ended up getting loads of seats. Anyway, politics aside, like that was the thing that we remembered because we were talking about it a lot. But we were staying at this campsite. We thought from the advert that we'd arrive and there'd be loads of like sleeping bags and things like that there. There was nothing in this tent except a slightly deflated airbed uh, uh and a rusty old kettle. That's all there was at this place. And so we didn't bring any sleeping bags, but the thing was, it was really hot that day, and we were really sweaty after the gig, and we thought, oh, it will be fine when we get to the evening. Like it'll be fine. We won't need sleeping bags, you know. But we were very, very wrong. It turned out from my research, the nearest place to us to camp to sleep at uh, was Manchester. So we would have had to play in Leeds and then drive to Manchester and stay at a hostel and then drive to Edinburgh, and that would have been a longer drive and would have wasted more petrol. So I thought we stay at a campsite in Leeds, it'll be fine. But after the gig, we got back and we were all freezing. We were freezing our butts off in this tent. It was not fun at all. I remember that yeah, we were all trying to find our ways to make ourselves warm in this tent. It was just really, really cold, and we were trying to keep warm. My guitarist at the time, Andy, he was doing the best. He basically lived in this old leather jacket, and so he basically covered himself in that leather jacket and jumped on the airbed and slept. Like he was the one who was sleeping. So I was jealous of him. But yeah, my bassist at the time, he took his hoodies and he would put his legs through the sleeves. It's like he'd put his legs through the sleeves of the hoodie to create like a makeshift blanket around his bottom half, and then he put loads of hoodies over the top to try and sleep in. Didn't work, but good try. My drummer at the time, he took every piece of clothing that he had and covered himself in them. So he was like cocooned in tight underwear and skinny jeans. Like he was just cocooned in it, but he was just shivering, and he was right next to me, and I felt so bad. And me, I felt I was the most creative of the bunch in creating my I felt I was the most creative in making myself warm, because what I did was I brought loads of t-shirts along, because at gigs you sweat a lot playing on stage, so you need extra t-shirts for when you come off stage and you want to chat to people, because you don't want to be a massive sweat ball all the time. So I took my t-shirts, and what I did was I basically took the sleeves of the t-shirts, not this t-shirt, I didn't own this then, but I took the sleeves of each of my t-shirts and tied them to the sleeves of other t-shirts. So I'd have loads of band t-shirts that were all tied together by the sleeves, and I put it over myself like a makeshift blanket, thinking that would work. I thought that would work. I thought this is what's going to work. And then I'm going to be like, hey, everyone, all you need to do is tie the sleeves of your t-shirts together and you'll be fine. I was wrong. I was so very wrong. And it got to a point I wasn't sleeping. It was freezing. And I looked around and everyone else was suffering. And I just said, is anyone else awake? And in unison, the whole band went, yes. And I said, do you want us to go to Tesco and buy some duvets? They, in unison, were like, yes. And so we ended up jumping back in the car and driving to Tesco at 2 a.m. and buying a whole bunch of duvets and driving back and sleeping under them. And so, like, we started off we were driving to Scotland and back in my Ford Focus, which at this point was full of guitars and amps and drums. Like, there wasn't space for anything else. And now I've got to drive to Scotland and back. Yeah. And yeah, I've got to drive to Scotland and back, and I've now got 2 duvets that I have to deal with. I was like, do I just leave them here? I've just spent £40 on these duvets, and I don't know what I'm doing. So that was just a nightmare. Like, I will never forget it, and I'll be telling that story for the rest of my life, Matt. I just tell you that it was an absolute nightmare. But kind of funny looking back on it, because you go, that's a proper tour experience. I thought we'd be warm enough in a luxury tent that wasn't too luxury, and in the end, I had to go to Tesco and spend £40 on duvets, where I probably could have just spent that extra £40 on a hostel in the first place, not cheaped out. So, moral of the story is, don't cheap out in your hostels. If you're on tour, spend the money to sleep well, because you won't perform good the next day if you haven't slept well. Because I then had to drive to Edinburgh the next day and park and everything, and then perform well to 2 people. So there you go. Anywho, I'm going nuts. Matt, what's going on? Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Um, yeah. You've missed the all-nighters back from Edinburgh. Yeah, man, I do as well. I do as well. Your friend Andy Twyman did a documentary about playing a gig to a room who didn't get it. That's cool. You should leave a link below, Matt, so we can all check that out, because that'd be an interesting documentary to watch. Miss finding these places, so do I. It's the UK festival experience for sure. You ended up sleeping in friends' tents who couldn't be bothered to put their tents up. I maybe some time, Captain Scott. I don't get the quote, but yeah, yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, man, tents are just hell. I hate tents. I really just think like we've evolved beyond tents. So like, why do I need to sleep in a tent? I like bricks. Bricks are nice. Like a nice brick wall around me would be nice. Yeah. Anywho, cool, man. This has been fun. um, boom. Oh wow. Okay. Matt saying, uh, okay. So there was a captain called Scott who went to the Arctic and they freeze to death in their tents. Again, this story reinforces that tents not to be slept in. Definitely not. Um, there we go. We've moved beyond tents. And definitely I've learned if I go out back out on the road again, I am not sleeping in another tent. I've got a really horrific tent story from when I went to Reading Festival in 2008, but I won't get into it. Yeah. Matt saying I'm Captain Oates meets Noah. I'll take that, Matt. I'll take that. Brilliant. Brilliant. Cool beans. I'm gonna call the oh wait. Okay. I was gonna call it to a close, but we're not done yet. Matt saying, did you watch The Boys? I've not watched The Boys yet. I've had a lot of people telling me to watch The Boys. I love my superhero stuff, so I should probably watch The Boys. I find Amazon Prime a bit of an annoying interface, so I don't use it a lot, but I might see if I can get into it. Who knows? To be honest, Matt, I spend most of my days recording in here, and then when I finish up at the end of the day, I kind of just want to watch something easy. And I hear The Boys is quite challenging, but I might check it out. I've been watching a lot of Community, so I might check out The Boys. That'd be cool. I'll let you know if I get into it. Um, awesome, awesome. Brilliant. Well, thank you to everyone who's been watching along. Thank you to Matt for the epic live chat. It's been really fun. Always love doing these. I'm going to call it to a close now. I'm going to go get some sleep. But thank you to everyone who's been watching. Thank you to Matt for everything in the live stream. And boom, it's been a really fun night. Thank you for all the comments, and we'll see you later, guys. Peace.